What if Satan was never meant to be understood as a monster outside of you? For 8 years, I worked as an acupuncture therapist and astropsychologist, working deeply with people's energies and emotional states, and I was a devoted Christian for almost my entire life. And here is what I came to understand about the devil and Satan. Satan is not a character with horns. The word Satan comes from Hebrew, and it translates roughly as adversary, accuser, or one who opposes. These are functions, not necessarily a being. In the Old Testament, Satan was not originally portrayed as God's enemy, but rather as an instrument of testing, the one who points out a person's weaknesses and challenges them. The devil comes from the Greek diabolos, meaning one who divides, one who throws apart, or one who creates separation. And this is where it gets interesting. The first meaning is division, when conflict appears within you, when you become internally split. The accuser is Satan operating within the psyche, and Lucifer was not originally Satan. The Latin word Lucifer means light bearer or morning star, a reference to Venus and a symbol of intellect, illumination, and awakening. The image of Lucifer as a fallen angel developed much later, when the light of intellect became separated from the heart and transformed into pride. Beelzebub, traditionally translated as Lord of the Flies, can be understood symbolically as an image of decay, distraction, mental noise, obsession, and inner clutter. Asmodeus is not simply a demon. Symbolically, he can represent passion, obsession, vulgarity, and desire when desire begins to control you. Mephistopheles represents the principle of deals, manipulation, and the exchange of one thing for another. Azazel can be understood through the symbolism of the scapegoat, the mechanism of projecting guilt and responsibility onto someone or something else. Belial represents disintegration, meaninglessness, uselessness, and the loss of purpose. These don't have to be understood as completely separate beings. They can also be interpreted as different aspects of one psychological process, the inner division of the human being. And perhaps the most powerful tool of Satan is the inner critic, the voice we often confuse with conscience. When you shame yourself, suppress yourself, constantly accuse yourself, and call it spirituality, there it is. Because conscience at its deepest level connects, the inner critic divides. Conscience brings you back to yourself. The inner critic tears you apart. So perhaps Satan is not simply evil. Perhaps Satan represents a function of learning through conflict. But when you become trapped in that conflict, hell begins inside you. So to summarize, Satan is when you are divided within yourself. The devil is when you believe in that division. Beelzebub is when your mind becomes consumed by noise, distraction, and decay. Lucifer is the light of the intellect capable of awakening you or inflating your ego. And wholeness is when there is no war happening inside you. And now I have a question for you. Who benefited from moving all of this from the inner world to the outer world, from turning Satan, the devil, and demons into external enemies, so that people would stop looking for the source of the conflict within themselves? What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. And send this video to someone who is living with guilt, self-blame, or constant inner conflict. And send this to someone who is tired of living in guilt, fear, and inner conflict. Follow me here for more about moving from division to wholeness. Be well and stay healthy.